So welcome to being your best self. Right, welcome to the next episode of Being Your Best Self. Now, me and Andy had a quick chat, and Andy got a bit frustrated that I hadn't talked enough about some of my fascinations. He thought I was sort of teasing him really about petrol heads and bikes. And there's something that I'm quite passionate about, and I know something Andy's quite passionate about. So we're going to just spend 5 minutes. That's all we're going to do, just talk about why we love this stuff. And we've started with me, and I was just going to say, I love this stuff, but I'm not an owner. I'm a participator and a renter of all things beautiful and fast. Because I've got a family with 4 kids, and I can't justify it, and I certainly can't own a motorbike at the moment for various reasons. Not that I don't love bikes, but I think we'll start with, and the question actually I think that got me and Andy kind of engaged initially was, what's your favourite Porsche? I'll throw that to Andy to start off with and tell us why.
Oh, why? Oh, gosh, wow. Firstly, I think the older ones are definitely the prettier ones from my perspective. Anyway, I think that, when you look back at where it all started with Ferdinand Porsche and the shapes that he brought and the ingenuity as well. I mean, he's the first person to develop an electric car that actually worked. This is late 1800s, I think. So amazing. I'm kind of with you really that the original kind of little bug is pretty much where all my heart sits. It's such a simple piece of design, but the curves, I guess big part of what draws me to a lot of this stuff is the actual design aesthetic and the shapes that they've created in some of those cars. They don't even need to be moving to look powerful and be fast, and that is just amazing in itself. And so, that it would if I was to put my kind of finger on it, it would have to be one of those very, very early ones. Right. And coupe or drop top, either or, just super simple, 2 seats, and wow.
Yeah, and for me, it's the 959, which I know is a bit of an unusual car, quite rare. Very expensive, but it's that whole shape and design. And what really attracts me to Porsche is that I always remember watching this documentary once, and this guy was hoofing it down the road doing about 60 or 70 miles an hour. He took his hands off the steering wheel and he slammed on the brakes, and the thing just stopped in a perfectly straight line. It's that whole thing about the thing not only looks beautiful, but it's also engineered well. And I think for me, that's what I love about that is we've all seen cars that look the business but failed to deliver. We've seen incredibly dangerous cars. If you think about, Lancia Integrale, some of those Group B. I know Group B is a little bit of a kind of it's something I really like. Like the
Demo 205 is another one that kind of.
T16. And not to forget the Metro 6R4. I mean, who'd have thought a mini Metro with a V6 in the back? But it's not really a mini Metro. I think there was 2 panels on it, wasn't it?
Something like that. But I think those are great examples of kind of brutal power expressions, in my eye, anyway, from a design perspective. Whereas, I think a big part of the Porsche aesthetic is that kind of subtlety that there's a beauty in every aspect of what they're doing, and as you said, beautifully engineered as well. So it's what not to like, really. It's just a pity I don't have the cash to have one in the garage.
No, and actually I saw one of the big, I forget what they're called, the big sort of Porsches, the new electric ones now. And
the Taycan.
Beautiful to see that transition as well. I think that's you're seeing that kind of consistency of beauty and design. I completely agree. And I think we're on a really interesting period here as we come out of internal combustion engines and into electric vehicles. How that's going to look, because at the moment they're all looking quite samey to do with the floor plan and various design limitations around that. But that's going to change as the technology changes. So I think it's going to be an exciting journey going forwards. That's for certain. I'm looking forward to it. And it's also good to see someone actually coming in offering something different. If you actually need a car that drives well a long distance that isn't a Tesla. I think they're great. It's great to see a first mover, but it's so much heritage that could have just been left and gone. And I'm just so pleased that hasn't happened.
And there we go, folks. That's our 5 minutes. So over to you. What do you think? Shall we take the Tesla story further? Are we going to talk more Porsche? Are we going to go in a completely different direction? It's really up to you. We don't mind.